Hi, robotics people. I'm Iggy from last year, from last year's present. This is our robot from last year. Did pretty well. We went to state, obviously got canceled because of Corona, but here we are anyways. Okay, so I just want to go over the bot a little bit, explain some of the things you see here, and yeah, hopefully you can get at least a little bit better understanding of what exactly, we do in robotics, because robotics as a term is just itself very vague. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is a drivetrain. So drivetrain is, what makes the robot move, obviously. And so obviously we have 4 wheels down here. You might notice they're kind of weird looking. They're what's called mechanism wheels. And so you'll see, it works like a normal wheel, but all around it has these little rollers that also spin. You can see them right there. And so they're kind of an angle. And if you look at look at the other one. Mm-hmm. So you can see they're angled in different ways. That one like that one like that. So what these wheels do is when they rotate like opposite each other like that, it actually pushes the robot sideways. So when these roll like that, it'll go this way and the other way like that. See, when I pull it sideways, the wheels spin in different directions because the mechanism wheels. Okay. So we have 4 mechanism wheels, and so that allows us to go in all directions. And then we have 4 motors powering each wheel, which are these cool cylinders right there. And then we have chains connecting the motors to the wheels. Okay.
Can you talk about how the chains work, maybe?
We'll explain that in another episode. But I'll just say we have the chains geared for I think it's more speed right now. Yeah. So the motor's spinning 1 speed, and the wheels will go twice that speed, I think, right now, how we have it geared. Something else you might notice, this is pretty advanced, this is for programming things, but these little wheels, they're encoder wheels. So during the autonomous period of the competition, which I'm sure we'll have another video explaining somewhere, we have the robot move by itself autonomously, and these wheels, they track the spinning of the wheels to see how far we've moved with the robot, and so we can essentially choose where we're positioned on the wheel, on the field. We say, move the robot forward until we've gone 20 inches, and this wheel will track that. Okay, so that's a drivetrain. Next is the best thing on this bot. Is the intake. So you'll see we have 2 big compliant wheels. They're called compliant because they're squishy, and they're also a little bit sticky. They're old now, so they're not as sticky, but when they're new they are. One on either side, and then we have some black motors connected to them. And so what these wheels do is, man, I should have brought a block for this. Back, sorry, hopefully Stone cut correctly. But this is the first take of this video, so we're kind of missing some stuff. Anyways, so from the game last year, we had to collect these stones. And what we did was we just have these green wheels. The motors will spin them in opposite directions like that. And so whenever we come close to a block, they can kind of pull it in like that. Obviously, it's hard to show right now since we don't have the phones connected. But it worked really well, and so those are the compliant wheels. On the inside, you can see we have these rails, which are just pieces of aluminum. And so what those do is, when we have the block go towards the inside, that just helps it guide it all the way back towards the next part of our robot, which I have over here. Okay, so obviously there's a lot going on back here. When we start with this part, which you can see. So what this is a claw that grabs the block. So during the game, we'd have the block come in through the intake, and it'd come all the way back. It's a little janky right now. It'd come all the way back into this claw. You see right there, it's grabbing one side. And when we have a servo motor that just spins to this angle, and then we can pull it up. And so we went through several iterations of this claw. This one was the easiest and most lightweight. which, well, as you can see, we can raise it and lower it, which I'm going to explain next. So you want something lightweight for that. One more thing before I talk about the arm. You might see this random little extrusion here. So this was a late addition to our intake. But when you're intaking a block, sometimes it won't go in all the way, or there'll be a little space between where we want it to position for a claw. And so what we call it spanker does is it just pushes the block all the way back, and so that's in the perfect position for our claw to grab it. And so, it's a cool little idea that we just had to make the claw more consistent. Okay, I'm going to spin this around. I'm going to show you, this is easily the probably hardest part of this robot, this arm. Okay, and so it has obviously a lot of things on it, but I'll go talk about this first. So we have the claw here, and it's pivoting on this axle right here, connected to extrusions from the arm. And so what that does is, we pick up the block on this side inside the robot, and then we can spin around and move the block over to the back side. And that lets us stack a block over here. And if we grab another one on this side, we can stack it back. And so how we have it rotate, we just have these plastic brackets right here. They allow the axle to spin within them, but these ones where the claw is attached to, it doesn't. So if the axle moves, you can see right there, the axle moves with the claw arm, but it moves through this one. And so what we can do is if we just move the axle, we can move the entire claw. And so we just have a servo up there, pretty simple, and it works actually pretty well. Okay, so you might be wondering what this random green thingy is. I'm going to take it off in the heat because it was in the back of Miss Hamill's car. It kind of deformed, as you can tell right there. But what this piece is the capstone from last year. So I don't think they're going to have anything like this again this year. But basically, we had to try and stack it on one of the blocks. And so the idea of this was we had it under the claw during the game, and then we had this little screw that you could put in. I don't know if Stone can see this, but yeah, the little screw that you could put in and hold the capstone up. And then we have another servo. Where's the servo? You might be able to see this servo right here, Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So this servo would reel in the screw, pull it off, and then drop onto the block. Obviously, it's deformed, so it doesn't really work right now, but it actually worked pretty well back in the day. That's a good example of just being creative. I mean, that took a lot of tries to get working, but I think it's a pretty cool system.